All right. So here we go, right? We're doing a recording on SumuXP. This is a VOD review. And we're going to be looking at his VODs and seeing what we can find to improve on, right? I like doing a Slayer, right? Especially for like a first time VOD because of the fact that you want to be able to build up from like basics, fundamental skills to like higher up skills, and just starting off from like objective, which is like more of a complex game mode versus Slayer. um you kind of you have the opportunity to skip and accidentally like just kind of gloss over some skills, and that's not what you want to do, right? So without further ado, boom, right off the bat, we have here SumuXP going right here, right? I would call this like mid right on the map, because you know it's not like far right perimeter, it's not mid left, and not far left perimeter. So this is mid right, and if you zoom out, you see the spread: 3 people stacking right side, and then 1 person going left side. Um, for matchmaking, right? Like if you don't have a team where you actually like set up strats and stuff, I would honestly just like prefer personally to see people go like 2-2, right? Just to like have like an even spread on the map. Because like 3-1, so many things can go wrong, you know, like you can get like naded, like let's say one nade takes 2 people's shields out, and it just makes your team at like much more of a disadvantageous position than would otherwise even be possible. Um, so, and there's another concept right here I want to cover. I like doing this, right? Like most videos, right? You see how there's like 4 people, right, from like left to right. I look at it from like this way, left to right, right? Sumo, right? This guy, he's boom. That would make him mid-right guy, right? Because there's far right, mid-left, far left. So technically, like speaking, if you were to just go off this, he would be playing the correct lane, right? He spawned mid-right, he's going mid-right. And then the guy on the other team, right? Or on, excuse me, the guy on his other side crossed over from mid-left or something like that. Or like far left. And so these, either one or both of these guys on his team are in the incorrect lane. Now you want to be playing like correctly no matter what, but like in matchmaking, the scenario kind of changes a little bit from like if you have like already preset lanes for your team if you're like competing or something, because of the fact that like people in matchmaking, they just kind of go wherever they feel like it. Like there's no plan. And so that being the case, you got to work with what you have. So what would be a good idea to start doing is to just like taking a second or two, right, off initial breakout spawn, unless there's like something that you want to like beam for, let's say snipers on the map, and you're just trying to like fly at it or something like that, which honestly you shouldn't be doing, but like, you know, it's a good thing to practice, right? Like if your strat is based on that, as a team. But especially for like matchmaking, you want to always be playing the numbers. So like if there's something up and y'all have even numbers as the enemy team and everyone's looking at it, you don't want to go for it, because then that's, you're giving away. Let's say the enemy team is looking at like shock, right? And they're like cafe and like hiding back there or whatever. And the second you run out, they peek out and you're dead. So that's giving them a free death. You don't want to do that. Basically, all that being said, um, what you want to do is like take a second, see where your team is running, and then see what lanes they're going on. Like this guy's going far right, this guy's going mid right, and then choose your lane based on that. So that would be either far left. Since this guy's going far left, you'd be mid left, so you'd be over here, right? And either you could push up or pull back depending on, you know, what you want to do, what angles you want to see. Because like from back here you can see blue elbow, but like from up here you can't, but you can see bottom mid. So that's just kind of like you know, a little quick rundown on lanes. Lanes is like fundamental. That's really what you want to be doing, unless you're just holding forward. Looks like we have 2 AFKs. Boom, right here. You want to recognize the AFK in this scenario. This guy's not AFK. He's just looking. But off breakout, you always want to be like going as fast as possible to check their spawn in case they're AFK, in matchmaking at least. So you know where they are, kind of. Good team damage. Am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. Alright, so now, boom, you just split the map. Or you just collapsed on them. And they're spawning like hotel side now, like red hotel. So right here, boom, I wanted to call this out, right? Check this out, right? Your team doesn't have map control. Or they have some map presence, but it's not as much as it could be. That being, like, let me demonstrate, right? This guy, right, like he's about to like go through mid, and this guy's going like he's on left side. Let's just hypothetically say that these guys have their shields or whatever, right? Um, you coming over here, um, you can kind of like just like playing the numbers, right? Like your team has 4 people up, their team has 2 people up. Um, them on your team, they kind of have left side on lockdown since there's 2 on left side. Like let's say if you split the map like this, 2 on left side, 2 on right side, right? Just kind of standard strat. And so that being the case, one guy, this guy on left side really should be like tower looking this way, but whatever. Let's say he's looking mid, so he's technically still looking like at the very perimeter of the left side, and this guy is looking like the rest of the left side. The right side right here is like blue, right? So you see how there's like an enemy here spawning blue. So they're controlling left side of the map, but there is no right side control because you and your teammate are looking towards your other 2 teammates. And so if that guy who just spawned blue decided to just cut through cafe, right? He now has the easiest flank in the world because neither of you are looking at checking this flank, checking the angle. You always want to have that like off your spawn. I know this isn't a spawn, but like off of a scenario where like you recognize that there's a reset, as in like you just collapsed on them, now you reset, now you do it again on the other way. That's kind of like what I mean by reset. You want to be able to recognize those moments and switch your thinking instead of like going this way and continuing. Like let's say you're running the circle around the map, right? Instead of continuing to run the circle, you turn around and start running the circle the other way. That's really like the thought. You want to be able to have those switch moments when you recognize that. Now that guy died on left side, that does make you the mid guy, however, or unless this guy is going mid. So always kind of try to pay attention to like where your teammates are going, not just where they are, because of the fact that like you want to recognize when your turn to cover a lane is going to come. Like if this guy is running towards you, that means that like he's going to switch and he's going to switch with you his lane. So he's the mid guy now. You're the right guy. Without knowing, like without comms and all that stuff, the only real way to be able to tell that is to literally just look at your teammates. So a good practice to have, especially in matchmaking, is to just like literally be as far perimeter as you possibly can, and just like tell where your teammates are covering, so you could cover the angles that they're not covering. And then look, yeah, another one just spawned there, and they're getting a free map presence here, with no contest. So yeah, it's just a good concept to know. Let's go further up, right? Right here is good, right? Your tower. Everyone's kind of trapped, or not trapped, but like congested here in red. You want to kind of avoid these scenarios, or whenever you're in these scenarios, you want to start working on a way to like get more map presence. Excuse me. And spread out more, because if y'all just stick here, then that allows the enemy team to get free space on the map and then just mount a collapse from both sides and just get you in a pinch, and that's just where you don't want to be, you know what I mean? So here, right, it's good that you pushed out, especially because of the fact that you recognize that there's no one in the hotel because you were holding this angle for so long, and if there was someone there, they would have poked out by now. So you took space on the map. That's good. Good kill. Right here, I would say play a little bit more careful because your shields are at half. So I wouldn't be like jumping up on here, you know, I'd be like playing a little more reserve. That's just me though. And then right here, something I want to address. Boom, that turn, that angle that your reticle is at right now, I would say that's turning too much inwards towards where your team is, right? That being the case, you're letting the enemy controlled territory have a sight line on your back, right? Let's say there's an enemy right here, right behind that guy. He would be popping out right here, seeing the back of your foot, bouncing a nade right there, and pretty much almost killing you right off the bat. And like, boom, that's a free death. So in order to avoid that, like from back here, you want to kind of like generally tell like where your team is, with those dots on the side of the screen, right? So if your team has this side of the map, which is like red right near big door, like under control, you want to like basically just kind of assume that the enemy team is going to be like on the other side of the map generally, you know what I mean? Like of course check your corners and all that, but for the most part, especially since they're on respawn and their numbers are down, um, you want to just assume that they're all kind of like in that direction. So if they're in that direction, you kind of like are able to predict where they are. That being the case, right? You're coming over here, you see that guy. You want to be able to predict, let's say like one of them's about to pop out there or could pop out there to help that guy in a fight. Meaning you want to exit, so you want to be able to like either back out here or like drop down here quickly and continue this fight. You know what I mean? You want to isolate the fight. Um, that's why I said that when you jumped here, I was a little bit like hesitant because like still there could be someone coming out right there, especially because their spawn points. If you see now, they're all kind of like around blue, so this guy could have like ran through this way or whatever, something like that. Um, and that being the case, this right here, like I would say maybe you could like pre-nade here and then continue here, but I would not cut through this area of the map because like even if hypothetically or there is no one there. Um, Although hypothetically speaking, while you're doing this, one of those guys could come through here on the opposite side of the map, uncontested. Now they have spawns here hotel, right? Let's say it just they have the drop on this guy, right? They have spawns here hotel or like red bend, and now they have a complete flank on your team. Let's say one of them spawns right here. Look at that. Boom. A flank on your guy. So you want to just be able to keep track of the flanks um, on your entire team, not just on yourself. Like that, like that. That's nice. And then right here is good, right? I like that you recognize, okay, they're stacking left side, so you go right side. Fantastic. And that right there was perfect. You see, okay, let me just slow it down for a second so you see. Right here, you're keeping track on lanes, maybe consciously, maybe subconsciously, I don't know. But because of the fact that like you notice where your team is going, notice like your team is under you, right? You're feeling, instead of continuing the right side push, since your entire team is going right side and it would be redundant, is to switch and check the left side. That's perfect. You want to focus on making sure that you're doing that 100% of the time, or at least as much as possible, to check the lanes that your team isn't checking. Nice. I like it. All right. I'm going to go to a different game, right? I'm going to go to... I saw you had a game on interference that I wanted to check out. Here we go. Because, interference isn't a map that comes up in ranked arena. So, not often we get to VOD review a map like this. It's nice. It's fun. And it's... I don't know why it's not in ranked arena, as it's basically an HCS map. I think it even used to be in ranked arena. I mean, even in Halo, this is a Halo 5 ranked arena map. You know what I mean? So it's like this is tested, tried and tested. They should put this in rather than like, I think like rather than Argyle or something, right? So okay, check this out, right? You spawn in your leftmost spawner. Your team has a spread here on the right side. Your leftmost spawner. This map's a little different than some maps since it's a diagonal cut based on like where your team spreads and the other team spreads. So like the cut is halfway, like your left side, your enemy team's right side. And the power-ups are cutting across the middle, right? There's power up, and then there's the thrust, and then the fucking technically the shock, but no one picks that up. So really, what you want to be doing is playing for these power ups, at least contesting them, not letting the enemy get them for free. You know what I mean? So you on the left side of the map, right? Since you're the leftmost spawner, your contest would be sniper. You want to make sure you don't get sniper. And you do that, right? You come over here, and boom, right here, coming around the corner. I don't like the reticle placement because of the fact that, let's say hypothetically, right, like on the other team, this guy, Jazio, right, he's the rightmost spawner on their team. Let's say he wasn't AFK off spawn, and he actually just like turned and started running, right? Started running this way. Right here, you'd go up here, you know, he would basically get free control over sniper because you're not looking at him at this point. And like you might be saying like, oh no, but I was looking at him from, you know, my peripheral or whatever. The important thing is, especially when going around corners, if you're able to predict where the enemy team is going to be, you want them to be in your reticle, because that's, if you're not shooting them the second you're coming around the corner and you have the opportunity to, then you're basically just giving away free you know, free map presence for the enemy team. You're basically, you know what I mean? You don't want that to happen. So, right, what you want to do, right? I think the jump kind of messed you up a little bit too. So when you're coming around this corner, you want your reticle to either be right there. So that would mean like you would be blocking their farthermost perimeter section of the map, or top cat, because technically that's, if your reticle is top, if your reticle is like down here, right, and they get through, right, with like, you shoot them once and they just keep running, then you could just easily like slide here, get more damage on them, and then it's a fight on the sniper side, right? But if they're top cat, right, and your reticle's down here, they could like within the span of like a second run across, and then they'll have free damage and a lot. They'll just be able to pick up the sniper before you're even able to contest them. So honestly, what you want is your reticle here on cat just to contest that sniper, and then if you're going to be making space, if you're going to be pushing forward from that angle, right? Let's say you don't see them, and like out of your peripheral, you don't see them on the bottom lane either. You want to like start assuming that they're going towards long haul right side of the map, but still be able to, if they're like maybe just like late off spawn, like that guy was AFK, you still want to be able to catch them if they go through this. So you'll be like walking forward, reticle trained there, and then like check this angle, right? You see that like that triangle that just appeared. So walking forward, time it to make sure like no one's walking there for like a second, and then you would switch here, right? To be able to catch someone if they're starting to walk towards sniper there. Using your peripheral, right, to check the bottom lane and like the right lane as you walk forward. And then you would keep walking forward, right? Come around the corner. Your reticle would just trace. It would be right here. You wouldn't really want to move it from right here, because let's say there is someone there, and let's say like you trace your reticle right here. The second they come here, boom, they have height advantage, and like they could pre-nade you, like throw a nade, they could bounce it off this and it would hit you in this corner. So that would force you to either have to go all the way back here, or like expose yourself here on top of the pipe to try to take the fight at like a weird angle. You don't want that. So really, your goal as the farthermost left guy right now is just to secure that sniper. So, you know, you would be going this way, kind of reticle train there, right? Maybe at this point you could just like turn and, you know, be safe in the fact that like, you're so far pushed up compared to where they would have to be pushed up. Like, let's say there's someone behind that staircase, right? You're so far pushed up on the sniper that you could just turn and like take damage if they were to like have one or two shots on you, and you could pick up the sniper and slide back here, and then you would be taking it like two shots down, but you'd still have sniper control and be able to play the sniper if they were to be pushing up on you at that point, which is really what you want at the end of the day, is to just like not let them have sniper. And you'd also have like a chance to like, you know, kill snipe them around the corner or whatever. But honestly speaking, like that's what you want to focus on off the break on this map if you're left spawn, is to just like train your reticle on that catwalk. Because right here they could just like fly at you. Maybe one of them could pop out catwalk and just have like easy shots on you as you're going for sniper. That's just something to look out for. You know what I mean? Just always have that in your mind. And then this is another thing right here, right? Like you're playing. Okay, you see this guy. I like it. You're backing up, taking cover a little bit, right? Boom. Yeah. Keep your life. I like that you go for the shot. Pay attention to where that nade's going. And then right here, boom. There's a decision that needs to be made at in the middle of this gunfight, actually. Because of the fact that OS is coming up, you don't see a timer on it because it's theater mode, but because of the fact that OS is coming up, your decision now is either keep challenging that guy or try to make a play for OS before it comes up, despite your numbers being down. Now, the choice is either have the ability to play snipe in case OS they have it and they try to go for you and go for snipe, you have the ability to play it, or sacrifice that ability to play snipe for the potential of you either killing their OS guy or grabbing OS before they get it. That decision really has to be made like right around here. Boom, you know what I mean? Right around here. Because now unsubscribe is pushing on your team, is pushing into your lane. You could kind of trust that like he has a suppressing fire enough for you to be able to like slide here, make progress towards OS, maybe kill that guy, right? Maybe come up here or down here, depending on what you want to do, and challenge for OS. If you were to have chosen that rather than to stick here and to have the ability to play the sniper for when OS does eventually come for you. So based on either decision, right? This is the spot where you would decide. Because of the fact that you turn left, that and like you go for snipe and you go left, you're sacrificing the decision to chow for OS at this point, especially because of the fact that you're one shot. So that being the case, your choice now is whether or not you chose it has been decided, and that is the ability to play the sniper. That is the best possible outcome of if they get OS and push you, that you take. So now that that's the case, right? You're playing your life around here, you know, getting your shield backs, trying to push this guy back a little bit. At this point, boom, they just got OS. You want to be kind of cognizant of that fact. So as you're taking this fight, you want to be, you know, the OS, there's a timer on in the actual game. So you want to be aware that like, okay, this guy on my team, especially now that that guy on the enemy team's running, right? Unless you're like guaranteed. I mean, I like that you went for this shot, but boom, the fact that you turned right means that like that's the reason why you missed a shot, because in the back of your mind you were thinking about OS as this was happening, right? If you weren't doing that, like if you were just laser focused on this guy, this shot wouldn't have missed, because you would be like laser focusing on his exit rather than having to catch the reticle back up to him. So that's kind of just a demonstration of like how different thought processes affect your actual aim and reticle placement in the middle of a gunfight. Is that a curve I see? Nah. Anyway, so that being the case, instead of going for this guy, right, what you would want to be doing, since you're thinking about that OS guy at this moment, instead like is like the second that like you kind of recognize that he's running, at this point, you want to turn and set up the shot for OS. Let's say he goes this way. And let's say he doesn't, then you check this way. You know what I mean? But that would be a free shot right there. Now, because of the fact that you went for that guy while thinking about it, that means that you didn't get that guy and you didn't get the OS guy. Or like you, right here, you missed a shot on the OS guy. So that's why you want to be like aware of the decisions that you have to make the second that they appear. And you want to make those decisions. You want to be like assertive in your decision making process, even if it's potentially the wrong decision. Because it's better to make the wrong decision at the right time than the right decision at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Because timing is everything in this game. So that being the case, I like that you went for the shot anyway. You missed. You took a different angle. You see your teammate right here. Boom. Remember the decision that we made earlier when we were up here, or that you had to make earlier when you were up here. It was either keep channeling left angle and get ready for the play for sniper, or attack for OS, right? Well, since you didn't attack OS, your best case scenario, unless you get the kill on OS, is to play the sniper. Um, so really, you want to be playing carefully either way. You want to like tiptoe around like OS, you know what I mean? You don't want to basically give them free snipe. That's what I'm trying to say. So, damn, I accidentally fast forwarded it the entire game somehow. There we go. So at this point, I think it would have been better, especially because you have a teammate there to kind of act like bait. If you would use your teammate, excuse me, as the bait for the OS, especially if you see him kind of like dropping for him a little bit, right? And you take left side while your teammate fights OS, and then boom, look at that, free snipes right there. 1, 2, 3. You could just waste all 4 shots on him, and it would be a better scenario. Let's go here because I see a little bit of a streak going on at the end of the game. Yeah, right here. Boom. This is kind of the last thing I wanted to cover, right? So you die tower, boom, you spawn here. If you look at the team spread, right? You see that there's 4 people alive on the enemy team, right? There's 2 there on the right side, and then there's 2 there on the left side. And there's 2 people alive on your team. Well, I mean, I don't know if this guy's technically still alive. Yeah, he's about to die though. Basically, what I'm saying is like there's a lot of action going on right here on the left side of the map, especially like right where you spawn. It's all going on right there, and then there's all this emptiness on the right side of the map. You want to start to like recognize like that the emptiness on the map is actually something that you could use for your advantage, right? Because like let's say all this action is happening on the left side of the map, like from where you are. So the entire enemy team, right, is going to be more focused on the left side of the map, or on where the action is, than where like the emptiness is, right? So you could use that to your advantage. Like right off spawn, you have a decision to make, um, because of the play, because of the map lay, the spread. I call it, what's going on the map. I call that the spread. So because of the spread, you have a decision to make. Either try to help your teammate there, who's kind of like in a vulnerable scenario against multiple enemies, who's it's a disadvantageous fight to take, but you could potentially come out on top in this fight. You go over here, right? Try to help fight the 2 people, or you take the empty space on the map, secure a spawn point for your dead teammate to spawn in, and go for map control, map presence, where you could actually like gain a foothold on the other side of the map, right? You might be thinking, yeah, it's leaving this guy out to dry, and yeah, it is. You're right. But it's not leaving your team out to dry. By team, I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about your entire team, the people that are on death screen, the people that are about to die in precarious spots. You want to be thinking about like what's advantageous for the entire game, not just for like that one individual in this one moment. That being the case, right? Because of the fact that all the action's going on this side of the map, and that you can kind of bank on the fact that like the enemy team is focused on that side of the map for the most part, that if one of them were to be coming out on the empty space part of the map, that they're still either going to be focused on like that side, assuming that you as a spawner are going to run into the action, so they're going to be trying to get the flank on you, so they're not going to be checking your spawn, or that if they do check your spawn, right, you want to be able to predict like where they're going to be doing that from. And let's say you take that right side of the map, right? Like you say, fuck that, I'm going for map control. You want to be able to like have the timing to where they're going to be pushing from, or actually at least you'll have the angle you're reticle trained, right? Like let's say here you spawn in, boom. What I would do is run right here, right? Slide, look here and train E2 because of the fact that you could probably get around the, if there's someone that was going to pop out E1, you can get around the corner quick enough to try to play your life a little bit better than if someone were to be E2 and you would be caught here, you're kind of fucked. So you would be running here, and then you might even be able to get an easy 5 shot because they wouldn't be expecting it. And then that gives you free map control for bunker control, maybe E2 control, right? And then you could assist with the rest of the map. That's what I would be going for. But let's see here. Let's see what you do. I gotta fast forward. Right here, you notice the one shot. You got him, and now right here, boom, you start getting shot. This is something that is kind of a difficult concept to put into play, but it's something that it would be very beneficial to do, right? The second that you start looking left rather than right, you've basically made the decision, right? The decision to be made was when you spawned in. And so since you're helping left side, your decision now should be basically weighing on the left side. So basically you'd want to like still keep in mind that there could be someone there on the right side, but your advantage on the right side of the map is gone because of the fact that like you took the time to like go left side, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but because of the fact that like now that you're, and you could tell, right, you swing right. So in the back of your mind, you were still thinking about map control, but the timing has been lost. So this is a concept you want to think about a lot. Rather than attempting to like retrace your steps, right? Like after going left side, now retrace your steps, go right side. Instead of doing that, because the timing is lost, you want to basically account for that and isolate the potential fight that's happening off screen. So like let's say you expect someone could potentially be E2, right? Right here, without even looking, you want to slide forward, get behind cover, and then check. You know what I mean? And then look at that, you have a massive advantage on that guy because his shields are coming back, and you would have 1, 2, 3. You could even re-peek the same angle, slide here. You know what I mean? But instead, because of the fact that you retraced, because you weren't thinking about that concept at the time of timings, he got some advantageous shots on you. So basically, that's all I'm trying to say is like you want to be having those decision moments. Always have a plan, like especially as you respawn. You want to just decide. You know what I mean? You don't want to be retracing steps. And if you are going to switch from one decision to a previous decision, you want to not, you don't want to like go backwards to do it. You want to go forwards to do it. You know what I mean? At least forwards into cover, forwards into an advantageous spot where you could take it from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Because then you can't be caught off guard if you're literally keeping cover between where that decision was and where you are. I don't know if grammar made sense there, but you know, you get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so that's the end of the VOD review. We're already gone like 34 minutes almost. I hope it helped. Ciao.